Welcome, AEIS artist. Today we are going to all start weaving. So I'm going to have third, fourth, and fifth graders all weaving, and you're just going to be using probably slightly different looms. So the fourth and fifth graders will weave on a little tighter tooth, but I think it'll be okay. And then the third graders, I have these, so it'll be a little bit easier to warp. So the first thing that we're going to do is with your loom, and this is called the loom. Our looms are functional. They're functional because we are going to take our weaving off. So we're going to use them to create our weaving. And then when we're done, we take our weaving off of the loom so that we can use it again. So it's a functional loom versus a decorative. Years ago, we did decorative ones where we worked with clay, created clay loom, and then the weaving was part of the art. So that was a decorative loom. So we're going to start with a cardboard loom. Now, a lot of students really get hooked on weaving, which it really makes me happy, and want to know where to get a loom. You can just get any piece of cardboard and create your loom. So to do that, this is just a cardboard box. You can use a cereal box, really anything that's cardboard. And you're going to mark off, this looks like it's in 1/4 inches at the top and also at the bottom, and then just cut little slits, okay, to create the teeth or the fingers, whatever you want to call them. So you can create your very own loom with any piece of cardboard. And you don't need a needle, so we're also going to use a weaving needle, not a sewing needle, but a weaving needle. But you don't need one. You can just weave with your fingers, okay? So the first step in creating your loom is to warp it. And you're going to put your name on it and your teacher's name because, like I said, everybody's going to be working on this and they're going to fall out of your folders. So first thing to do is put your name, teacher's name, and where you're sitting is always nice. And then if I haven't already pre-cut your warp string, it's string and not yarn, you'll be doing this yourself. So the string will probably fall on the floor like mine just did. And what you're going to do, so these looms are brand new, so the teeth are really tight, so you're going to have to very carefully separate before you get started. So I would just gently separate them. So I'm just gently breaking that top little piece that wasn't cut all the way through, and most of the looms you'll have to do this. So you're breaking it at the top, try not to bend it too much, and at the bottom. Okay, so there's a couple different ways of warping your loom. One uses more string than the other, and at this point I'm going to let you choose whichever way you want to do it. I prefer that you try to do it where less string is being used, and so I'm going to show you that first. So you take the one end of the string, and it hasn't been cut yet, so don't cut it unless I've already cut it for you. You're going to stick it through the first tooth, and you have a little tail in the back. Eventually, we used to tie these, but I think it'll be easier to take a little piece of tape and tape it down. Okay, and now the way to do it so that you have least amount of yarn or string being used is I'm going all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to go between those teeth, and now I'm just looping it on the back and coming all the way up. So I'm looping it around the back, just loop it, go around it, and come straight down. So I'm coming straight down. I'm just going right behind that tooth and coming straight up. So lines are only on the front, and loops are on the back. So you're gonna go through each and every tooth, and I'm just it's called warping or wrapping, but it really is called warping. You're warping your loom by wrapping this warp string. So notice I'm just going on, hugging that tooth, kind of like flossing your teeth, and going down. So I'm going down, I'm gonna go around the tooth, just around it, coming back up. So if I'm looking at the front of my loom, I'm just seeing the strings. So I'm going around, I'm always holding it so that it's at the front of me, and I'm going around. And if one of your teeth breaks, it's okay. We've got a lot of them. So once you get to the end And if I haven't cut it and you're cutting your string, you're going to turn it upside down and create a little bit of a tail. Okay? And then eventually we'll go around and tape all of our little tails down. So just a little piece of tail, tape to tape it down. So this is one way of warping your loom. It's the most efficient way for string purposes, so that I only have string on one side and loops on the other. So if you know how to do this method, I would prefer that method. The other way of doing it is where you actually wrap it all the way around. So I'm going to do it on the third grade loom. Third grade loom, the teeth are a little bit bigger. Again, I'm still going to tape down my string. And to wrap it, all you're doing is wrapping it around. And it just uses double the string, but it's really easy to do. So you notice that I'm just wrapping the string all the way around. When I get down to the bottom, so I've wrapped it, so this way you have strings on one side and strings on the other, but you're still only going to weave on one side. And then again, you're going to cut your string and tape it to the same side that you taped the others to. And I'll probably come around with tape. So now I have strings on one side and strings on the other, but you're only weaving on one side. So if you can't figure out how to warp your loom by just wrapping it around the little tooth so that you only have strings on one side, then you're going to do it this way. It takes a lot more string, and hopefully I have a lot of string, so it takes a lot more string, so I prefer this method. So I would love for everyone to try this method of just warping your loom by just hugging the tooth. Okay, once this is done, then we're ready to start using our weaving, and I'll do another little video on that. Everybody has on their table the basic weave handout, and eventually we'll have a fancy weave handout on your tables. We're going to start with the tabby weave. And it's really a simple weave. You have to start and end with a tabby because it locks your weave in place. So it's over, under, you turn around and go the other way. So we will have a video on explaining that, and I hope you all enjoy your weaving project. I look forward to seeing what you create.